Good morning, everyone. Before we begin, let us begin with a word of prayer. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, God who has brought us thus far along the way. It is our sincere prayer and hope that you forever keep us in your path, we pray. And all of God's children said amen. Good morning. I'm Ronald Slaughter, and I'm privileged to be the 50th pastor of the wonderful church called St. James. Amen. It is a church that we refer to as the greatest church on the planet. I am also the vice chairman of the New Jersey State Parole Board, which is an efficient, amazing, and a compassionate parole board. And today I certainly want to acknowledge my colleagues, Chairman Plummerai, who is here, and as well as our Executive Director, Dina Rogers, and our Chief Kavanaugh, who is with us today. I'm super honored to welcome you to St. James on behalf of our presiding bishop, Bishop Julius H. McAllister Sr., and the officers and members of St. James for this historic announcement. I'm even more excited to introduce the 56th governor of the state of New Jersey, the husband of First Lady Tammy Murphy, the father of Josh, Emma, Charlie, and Sam, one whom I affectionately refer to as family, and it is genuine and it is real. The late Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "The time is always right to do what is right." Governor Murphy has been committed to doing what is right and forging a path towards justice and equity since taking the oath of office. During the beginning of COVID-19, I saw firsthand this governor release more than 5,000 incarcerated persons as a sign of compassion and fairness. This governor, in the last few days and the last years of serving this great state of New Jersey, has been trying his best to make the words, those last words of the Pledge of Allegiance that declares liberty and justice for all. He's been trying his best to make sure that it is applicable to all persons, especially people of color. Governor Murphy's announcement today regarding clemency and pardons is historic and transformational. Out of all the places to make this kind of announcement, he chose a church that is a part of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the oldest black denomination in the world, which was founded by a man who had to purchase his freedom from slavery named Bishop Richard Allen. This governor, amen, this governor believes He believes that forgiveness, love, and mercy is appropriate for such a time as this. On this day that celebrates freedom for so many, let us remember the words of Dr. King. When we let freedom ring, when we let it ring from every tenement and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men, white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Will you join me now by standing to receive the governor of the state of New Jersey, who comes today to help someone finally declare, I'm free at last, I'm free at last. Governor Phil Murphy.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. This is packed. What a statement folks are making. I know a lot of folks traveled to be here today. God bless you all. Good morning. I want to first of all give glory and honor to God and to say good morning to everyone and happy Juneteenth. Let us rejoice in this glorious, I might add, really hot day that the Lord has made. To my dear friend, Pastor Dr. Ronald Slaughter, thank you for that extraordinarily gracious introduction and for hosting us in your beautiful sanctuary yet again this morning. I also want to thank your First Lady, two to your right, Kyla Slaughter, along with all of the stewards, trustees, officers, members, and friends of St. James AME for their hospitality as well. It is such an honor to be here in the Brick City. I want to thank Mayor Raz Baraka for hosting us so graciously, and I'm here alongside some of our nation's greatest champions for justice, and we will together mark a historic step forward in our mission to build a stronger, fairer, more compassionate, and more equitable justice system. I want to acknowledge members of our administration who are with us today. To my right, Attorney General Matt Platkin, New Jersey's Public Defender Jen Salitti, as Dr. Slaughter has already mentioned, Sam Plumerai, Chairman of the State's Parole Board, the Commissioner of the Department of Corrections, Victoria Kuhn, along with a whole passel of legislative partners, elected officials, too many to name, but it means a lot that you've all come out today. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to especially thank each one of the exceptional leaders who will take this rostrum after I speak, starting with my partner in government, the great Secretary of State and Lieutenant Governor of the great state of New Jersey, Tahisha Wade. We also have immediately to my left, I'm incredibly honored to be joined today by the co-founder of the Reform Alliance, the legendary hip-hop artist, Meek Mill. Meek, love you, buddy. God bless you. Meek, thank you so much for making the trip up here from Philly to Newark. For years, millions of people around the world have listened to your voice, and in turn, you have used that platform to speak up for the voiceless. And I know that for both you as well as to your right, another great guy, Wallow267 is in the house. Wallow, we love you. Thank you for being here. I know that for both of you, criminal justice reform is deeply personal. You've both experienced and witnessed the injustices of mass incarceration in America, and I want to thank the two of you, not just for being here today, but being a force for change. I also want to give another shout out to a dear friend, legendary hip-hop artist, great actor, great community leader. I don't know where he went. Eric B. is in the house. Eric, love you, buddy. I also want to thank another brilliant force for change who is with us today, Justin Dews. Trust me, you can't miss Justin. I'll just leave it at that. He's a former member of my counsel's office where he served as a senior counsel on criminal justice issues, and he is also a former member of the White House counsel's office where he supported President Joe Biden in appointing federal judges committed to fairness under the law. Justin has generously agreed to play a leading role in the initiative that we're announcing today. More on that in a minute. I also want to thank the members of my team who have worked day and night to develop this initiative, particularly Chief Counsel Paramel Garg, Deputy Chief Counsel Matt Burns, Senior Counsel Lee Kelsey O'Donnell, Senior Policy Advisor John Butler, and Natasha Kemi. Well done to you all. As was mentioned earlier, I want to also tip my hat to the First Lady of the great state of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy's in the house. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to the Executive Director of the ACLU of New Jersey, Amol Sinha. Amol, where'd you go? Amol, thank you for being with us, and thank you for reminding us on this day especially that we all have a role to play in ensuring that our state lives up to the promise, as Dr. Slaughter alluded to, of liberty, equity, and justice for all. Thank you, and thank you for your partnership. Amol was an incredibly important partner in getting us to today, and I know he will be from this day forward. Thank you, pal. So, it was 159 years ago today when General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, to announce a new beginning in our nation's story. The enslaved people of America had at long last been declared free. And it was a moment that marked a pivotal turning point in our nation's long journey toward racial justice, a journey, of course, that continues to this day. Because even long after the Emancipation Proclamation finally, an emphasis on the word finally, reached Galveston, The reality is that freedom would continue to be denied to black and brown Americans all across the nation. Indeed, even here in New Jersey, some nearly 6 months after that first Juneteenth, there were still black New Jerseyans toiling in enslavement. For them, emancipation would remain elusive until the ratification of the 13th Amendment in December of 1865. And in the decades since then, our nation's journey toward racial justice has proceeded in fits and starts. Over the course of the 20th century, black and brown Americans won victories in the fight for civil rights, like the right to vote. But at the same time, we also witnessed the emergence of new systems of oppression. One of the most glaring among them, mass incarceration, which has caused devastation and despair in communities all across America. Today in our nation, there are generations of families that have been torn apart by a broken criminal justice system that for too long has prioritized excessive punishment over healing and rehabilitation. And at this very moment, here in New Jersey, there are thousands of our neighbors living in incarceration, many of whom have been denied the justice they deserved. With their stories in mind, today I am honored to announce that our state is reaching a major milestone in our own journey, not only for racial justice, but justice for every New Jerseyan. In a few minutes, I will sign an executive order creating a new clemency initiative that will make our process for granting legal relief to New Jerseyans fairer, more equitable, and far more accessible. Historically speaking, I love the fact we've got little ones here, right? How cool is that? Historically speaking, here in New Jersey, receiving a pardon or having your sentence commuted was not a matter of either fairness or objectivity. It was a matter of who you knew and how well connected you were to those in power. So with the executive order that I'm signing today, we are changing that. We are embracing a new thoughtful and fair approach for identifying New Jerseyans who deserve a second chance. With this initiative, we're going to establish a brand new Clemency Advisory Board, which will be chaired by the aforementioned Justin Dews, that will bring together a diverse group of experts with experience across our entire criminal justice system, and the rest of the group is sitting in pew 2 to my left, and I'll give them a shout out when we sign this. And together, the members of the board will consider applications for clemency on an ongoing basis and ultimately offer impartial recommendations on who should be granted a pardon or a commutation. Importantly, this executive order will also clearly spell out the categories of individuals who will receive expedited review by the Clemency Advisory Board. We have reviewed best practices from around the country and from social science to identify individuals who, based on the time that has elapsed since their offense and or the nature of their offense, will be at the front of the line for consideration for pardons. And we are prioritizing commutations for categories of individuals whose ongoing sentence demands reconsideration in the name of justice. For example, one of those categories is survivors of sexual abuse. Today, as Victoria knows better than anyone, today in our state, there are survivors of sexual violence who decades ago physically retaliated against their abusers. And in response, these survivors, most of them are women, have been sentenced to excessive prison terms. Why? Well, because the system was not built to protect women like them. That is wrong, and these survivors deserve leaders who care. Amen. Thanks, man. Thank you. Pretty emotional. These women, these survivors, deserve relief, and that is what we're going to give them. Additionally, with this Clemency initiative, we're also hoping to provide commutations to individuals who were unjustly sentenced at the height of the war on drugs, or folks Thank you. Or folks who asserted their right to go to trial and were unfairly punished as a result with harsh sentences. It's one of these moments where I could read the weather report and you'd stand up, so I'll take it, trust me, in this line of business. These examples are but a few of the parameters that will be applied. But the bottom line is, yes, we and I are looking for individuals who have been rehabilitated or who could be giving back to their communities, but are instead being unjustly held back by our criminal justice system. To these individuals and to everyone in New Jersey, I promise you this: I am going to use my clemency powers as governor to remedy these injustices. Now, for folks, this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say today, either for folks in this sanctuary or watching the streaming. As of today, there's a website. If folks think in any way, shape, or form they might be eligible, they should go to nj.gov/clemency. nj.gov/clemency. I know Victoria and her team will aggressively promote this website and offer as much hand-tailored help as possible to folks currently in the system, but to folks out of the system, nj.gov/clemency. I would ask everybody here, particularly faith leaders, other community leaders, to spread that around. In a perfect world, you'd have a system which is automated, centralized. I'd hit one button and everybody who was potentially eligible would get it. That's not the world we're in. We saw that with the expungement of the low-end drug abuses. We're recovering, if you will, from a paper-based system, very disparate, no central database. Sometime in the future, I suspect after I've hung my cleats up, there will be an opportunity for somebody to press a button and automatically know who's eligible or is considering eligibility. But today we don't have it. So the responsibility is going to be out there on the individual to come to us. Again, Victoria and her team will aggressively promote how to engage within the system. I'm more concerned about folks who are out of the system, making sure they get that message. nj.gov/clemency. Now, we are not starting today, and we're not stopping today. In fact, the new Clemency initiative is really the cornerstone of our administration's efforts to ensure New Jersey lives up to our promise as the state for second chances. Amen. And over the years, in pursuit of this goal, we have enacted one of the most progressive expungement laws in the entire nation, again, for low-end drug offenses, I think impacting something like 360,000 individuals, never mind their families in New Jersey. Under the leadership of our Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of State, we have also restored the right to vote to tens of thousands of New Jerseyans on parole or probation. We have carried the concept of ban the box to housing, which has been a game changer. I know this as the former chair of the National Governors Association. Our bail reform approach is the envy of the entire nation. And as we look ahead, our next priority is restoring the right to serve on juries to formerly incarcerated individuals in New Jersey. Right now, think about this for a moment. Right now, there are more than 500,000 New Jerseyans who are banned, for life I might add, from performing this fundamental civic duty, and a disproportionate number of them, not surprisingly, are black and brown. That is why at this very moment we are working with our partners in the legislature, many of whom are with us today, to end this injustice once and for all with a new piece of legislation that I hope to sign soon. And through each one of these reforms, it's vital to uprooting the legacy of systemic racism in our state. The truth is, this is not only a matter of racial justice. This is about upholding our nation's promise, of justice for all, as Dr. Slaughter mentioned, for everyone, for every race and every family and every identity. Because when we win new rights and freedoms for our historically disadvantaged neighbors, it is not just one group of people that benefits. It is all of us who benefit. And every time we expand the bounds of liberty, we create new opportunities for the people of our state to come together and in turn thrive together. So today, as we mark a new step forward in our nation's journey toward racial justice, as well as justice for all, let us be clear, the work must continue. This new Clemency initiative is, of course, essential to reforming a broken criminal justice system, a system that has left deep wounds in communities all across the Garden State. But if we want to truly heal those wounds, then we need to do much more than merely dismantle broken systems. We need to replace them, and we need to replace them with new means of delivering restorative justice to communities throughout this state. We need to create new opportunities for our black and brown families to build generational wealth. We need to continue investing in the creation of good-paying jobs for black and brown workers, educational opportunities for black and brown students, and we need to invest in making housing, healthcare, transportation, and every facet of life more affordable and more accessible for black and brown families. Because delivering restorative justice is not just about taking action on this issue or that issue. It is a mission that touches every issue. It is about investing in the health, wealth, and well-being of every single family that calls our great Garden State home. So this morning, though we have reached a proud new milestone in our journey toward racial justice, let us also recognize that now is not the time to stop and enjoy the view. We must continue marching onward together. We must recommit ourselves to reaching the end of this journey. And we must continue pushing forward, as it is written in the Bible, until justice runs down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. A mighty stream. I'm practicing without a license, Pastor. Got a lot of faith leaders. I see these two guys in the aisle checking out my quote to make sure I got it right. Like a mighty stream, as I said, a mighty stream that will carry all of us as one New Jersey to the promised land, a future in which justice is no longer delayed or denied, and liberty is guaranteed for all. Thank you. May God bless you all. And it is my great honor to introduce my partner in government, the great Lieutenant Governor of the great state of New Jersey, Tahisha Way.
All right. Only thing I have to say is, to God be the glory, because isn't this a happy Juneteenth? And, you know, our great governor is always talking about this person rocking, this one rocking. Can we give him another thunderous round of applause? Because he rocks. He rocks. And yes. 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 And I tell you, it is such a privilege to make this historic announcement at St. James AME Church to celebrate Juneteenth in your beautiful sanctuary, Reverend Slaughter. Yes. Now, I could not be more proud to commemorate this day with action. As the governor mentioned, shamefully, New Jersey was the last northern state to end slavery. and it happened after Juneteenth. So, if we are to honor Juneteenth, my friends, and the unique history of African Americans in our nation, we must do more than celebrate this holiday, lament on how long it has taken to reach this point, or even just reflect on the ongoing struggle for racial equality in America. We must simply deliver justice. And today, that justice comes in the form of relief for those New Jerseyans who have been failed by the criminal justice system. In my own experience as a state judge, ensuring equal treatment under the law for every single New Jerseyan was the most fundamental way I could fulfill my oath of office. To be betrayed by a system intended to protect and uphold our highest ideals is an utter moral failure. So, this executive order is a second chance both for those who receive clemency and for our society to live up to our moral compass. And in closing, our drum major of justice, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. This is the spirit of Juneteenth, and although we have more work to do, I am forever proud to see our state take another step in the right direction. Happy Juneteenth all, and blessings to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Tahisha, thank you. Thank you for your words and your leadership, broadly as Lieutenant Governor, but especially as Secretary of State as it relates to voting rights. God bless you and thank you. I also wanted to give a shout out to my dear friend who got me on this beginning 8 years ago, Reverend Derek Green, who's in the house. Derek, thank you. I mentioned them earlier. We're incredibly blessed to have two icons in the leadership toward a equitable, fair criminal justice system. They're extraordinary talents in their own right away from this topic. We're incredibly humbled that they're with us today. And as Tammy said to Meek, the only regret the Murphys have today is all four of our kids are not able to be here because they couldn't believe we're meeting them. Please help me welcome the one and only Meek Mill and Wallow 267.
Thank you, guys. I want to give a shout out to the whole state of New Jersey, to the governor, LT governor, everyone who's worked on everything that he talked about in front of you guys today. I would want to tell you guys I'm greatly honored to be a part of this event today. I've seen a lot of walks of life, from being famous to major poverty to extreme wealth, and I grew up in North Philadelphia where it wasn't a lot of opportunity, and I told the governor this story. Being on probation at the age of 19, when I had a chance to actually get opportunity, I was on probation, and I was always I was always reprimanded to stay in Philadelphia and not be able to travel and chase my dreams, and it was a point where I needed to move out of that environment to better my life. I made a check and I moved my mother to South New Jersey and moved my child to South New Jersey to a better environment for my children. Philadelphia is a great place of brotherly love, and we have a great city, but at the time, my son and my family needed a better environment. My mom was struck by gun violence when my dad was killed at the age of 5. I was 5 years old, so me moving to New Jersey made a better way for my family and the future of my life. But moving to New Jersey also was a violation of my probation, because if anybody been in Philadelphia, the Ben Franklin Bridge is right there. So me just trying to be better in move to a better society and a better way of thinking and a better environment for my situation at the time was actually breaking the law for myself. And I told the governor early. I bought a property in Jersey, and of course I paid my Jersey taxes too. Never go around that. But I did what I had to do to take that risk to better my family, and New Jersey meant a lot to me, and my mother has been living here forever, the last 10, 15 years. And the thing you talk about clemency, second chances, giving people a fair shot, I grew up on that side of life, and I never thought or imagined I would be in rooms like this, and you guys give me the courage and the energy to use my platform and keep pushing forward to better our communities for all races across America. And these issues right now are catered to black and brown, but anyone caught in the system in those situations, you could be any color you wanted to, and it affects us the most. So I would say thank you, Governor, to being involved in something that brightens our culture. So thank you, guys.
Shout out to the governor for, you're the truest image of change. You smell like change. I could, I could feel it when I see you. Today is an important day for me. Since June 30th, 1990, the first time I got arrested, I was 11 years old, robbery, Philadelphia. Since that day, June 30th, 1990, I've never been off of probation, parole, out the system. I get off parole 2048, October. Let me explain something to you why the day is important. Because as we speak about clemency, right now I'm going through the process, and I have a hearing probably in August in Pennsylvania. And under them circumstances, I also, because I got a business in New Jersey, I pay millions of dollars of taxes in New Jersey. So I feel good being a taxpayer that this is working for me. But I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Reform Alliance. I'm also the cultural advisor of YouTube, one of the biggest platforms in the world. And I also are the co-host and the owner of a podcast called $1 Million Worth of Game. I'm also the co-owner of a hydration drink, Pure Energy, which a Pure Fuel, which is also the hydration drink for the Philadelphia Sixers and the Chicago Sky. I'm saying it to say this. The possibilities after prisons are amazing. There's people in this room right now. I'm not here to brag or boast. I'm not here to speak for me. I'm here to speak for the people that's coming after me. I'm here to do right, to represent the possibilities of what someone can do when they come out of there. When I sat in that cell, it was the older gentlemen there that been in jail for 20, 30, 40 years that read this book. Go to the school. Go get your GED. They was the elders that we lost in our communities that was educating us on the inside. Now, what's important about today is I heard something for the first time. And I'm so thankful today that I heard that. A lot of times when we talk about criminal justice reform, we always forget the women. Today the women was highlighted because, let's say this. We must understand we can't have no conversation without women because this world don't work without women. We not here without women. We can't eat without women. We can't think without women. So that's important. That's important. That's important. I know sometimes us men get beside ourselves with our things, our money, our power. Some of us don't even know how to iron our shirt, let alone tie our shoes if it wasn't for the women. So without the women, this world don't work. And I also want to say this. I want to give a shout out to the women of our organization, Jessica Jackson, Aaron, Desiree that's here today. Where y'all at? Could y'all stand up and get these? Reform Alliance over there. Jessica, and this is why this is so important. Jessica called me the other day in an emotional state. She was so happy about the day because it's a sister that she's representing to make sure that she see her freedom, that grew up. She grew up under domestic violence. She grew up under sexual trauma, all that stuff. She's been incarcerated for, decades. And Jessica was so emotional about today because she's, without a doubt, we're going to bring that sister home. But what's important in everything, today is a wonderful day in Jersey. Today is a wonderful day in change. But as we move forward as people, as human beings, I need to say something to somebody. We need to figure out ways as black people, as white people, as straight people, as gay people, whatever we are, we got to figure out ways that we can win together, that we can think together, so we can celebrate together. We got to stop. This is what we got to stop doing. Because what's going on with social media, all we see is the people that pose to represent our communities, the people that pose to represent our states, the people that pose to represent the world. They're finding every which way to go against each other when we got to come together in order for the world to work. The world don't work if we don't work together. So today in New Jersey, I want to say, what you doing, you the real deal. You got up here, you rocked the mic, and hold up. I gotta throw a little sidebar in this. Mind your business. Listen, from now on, you might don't know, but I'm your booking agent for speaking. Don't worry about that. I'm getting 20% of the cut. I'm gonna have you everywhere. Rev, plug us up with all the church. We got to get him in all the churches. All the commencement speaking for the colleges. And anybody want to book him, hit me up, 50,000 hour, question and answers. We'll talk about that later. And the book deal coming. But no, I just want to give you a shout out. Because you came up here, you're transparent, you're real. And one thing about our community, we know when you're faking. And listen, Gov, you ain't faking, Gov. And I just want to let you know, man, we respect you. We respect today. Jersey, I need y'all to get up and I need y'all to make some noise for New Jersey. Get up and make some noise for New Jersey. And when I walked up, and I don't think some of the people here today that never been to prison, I don't think y'all understood. I seen something special outside. Now, what I seen outside when I walked up today, I seen family members coming to hold their family down. But when I say family members, I need y'all to understand what I'm talking about. It wasn't just family members. I see y'all. Free Natasha. Shout out to her. I see y'all. Yes. But what I seen outside made me emotional. I'm going to tell you this. I seen the family members that's created when you walk the yard with a brother or sister in prison and you came here today to represent them. Stand up if you came here to represent your homie. Stand up. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. They came here today, right? The people that's standing here today, they came here. Let me explain something to you. Keep standing, the people that's standing. Let me explain something to you why they came here today. They came here, they could have been at work, they could have did anything. Some of them called off the work. They came here to represent their friend, their brother, their homie, their sister that they walked the track with, that they shared food with, that they went against the guards with, put grievances in, went to the hole with. So today, I just want to salute y'all, man, because y'all ain't had to be here. Because y'all don't understand that you got brothers and sisters that have been in there for 30 years, 40 years. Their family died off. These are brothers and sisters that are sending them commissary, checking on their kids, doing everything for them. And that's important. But once again, today is a beautiful day in New Jersey. And let me tell you something. Tomorrow's going to be better than yesterday. And we going to win. We going to make it. I love y'all, man. Let's do it. Let's win together.
Wow. Justin is up next. Good luck following that, Justin. Hold on. I'm going to give you a minute to catch your breath before you come up. Wow, that was so powerful. Let's hear it one more time for Meek Mill and Wallow 267. God bless you both. One of the categories, by the way, that allows eligibility in the initiative is if your crime was committed under the age of 25, and then you've stayed clean since. And so you'd be eligible for expedited review in this new system. Incredibly powerful. Thank you guys so much for being here. He doesn't have to do this. He's not getting paid a dime to do it. But I can't say enough good things. Justin Dews has been with me on and off from moment one. President Biden plucked him out of our team, and he played a senior role in the White House. He's now back in private practice. He has volunteered, as have the rest of the members, again, who I'll give a shout out in a moment, to serve on this Clemency Initiative board, are doing it because they believe in it from the heart, not for one dime. Please help me welcome its chair, Justin Deuce.
First off, thank you, Meek and Walla, for those powerful words and for reminding us why we're here today. I want to thank the governor for his generous introduction and giving me the honor of chairing the Clemency Advisory Board. Thank the Lieutenant Governor for her wonderful remarks. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Reverend Slaughter for hosting us here today. You know, being in this beautiful sanctuary reminds me of the words of the psalmist. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. And today's a day to be glad, because today is a day that we commemorate and we celebrate. We commemorate our freedom, the freedom of black Americans, upon whose shoulders this great nation was built. We commemorate the day that we all finally found out we were free from bondage. And today we celebrate. We celebrate the opportunity for a new freedom. Freedom that comes from three words, three simple words. Three words that ease burdens, three words that provide comfort, three words that give relief. I forgive you. Because that's what clemency is. It's forgiveness. And all of us in this sanctuary know the power of a simple act of forgiveness. To forgive someone is to free someone. And just like the forgiveness in our own lives, clemency, whether it be pardon or commutation, is transformational. A pardon removes barriers that the law erects. Commutation shortens sentences. What the law says you cannot do, a pardon restores. And what the law says you must face, a pardon wipes away. These are extraordinary measures with extraordinary outcomes, and they are within the sole discretion of the governor, which means it is a discretion that must be exercised judiciously and thoughtfully, and that is the standard that is set for this Clemency Advisory Board. We'll be making individualized and categorical determinations on clemency petitions, and I just want to let you all know we recognize the weight of our work. We recognize that we will be making life-altering recommendations for petitioners and their families, and we're relevant for victims and their families as well. So we need to be mindful of them in that process, because their voice matters too. And I just want to speak for a moment on the process, and I want to be clear. I want to be abundantly clear. Our work will be grounded in fairness and not influence. Clemency is not reserved for the favored and well-connected. Our only guide, our only end goal is justice. And doing justice is an immense responsibility, and it's a responsibility that this Clemency Advisory Board will not take lightly. So, with all that lies ahead and all that must be done, today we commemorate and we celebrate, and tomorrow we get to work, because freedom and justice can't wait. Thank you.
Justin, that was awesome, and I cannot thank you and your colleagues enough for doing this. And we know you will do this in exactly the way it should be done. You'll call balls and strikes just as the way they should be, and God bless you all for doing this. Deep, deep thanks. Last but not least, I mentioned him earlier. I mentioned that the ACLU, NJ in particular, Amol personally, was deeply, deeply involved over the past. You're playing a home game here today. Deeply, deeply involved as we formulated this whole program, and I cannot thank him enough. Please help me welcome the Executive Director of the ACLU New Jersey, Amol Sinha.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Governor Murphy, for that kind introduction. I'm just truly inspired to be here today in this beautiful church in the heart of Newark. on Juneteenth nonetheless. You know, for nearly 65 years, the ACLU of New Jersey has been rooted right here in Newark, and throughout that entire time, we've been fighting for a more fair and more just and more compassionate criminal legal system. I want to give a shout out to my colleagues at the ACLU of New Jersey. There's about 30 of us in the state of New Jersey, all right? They're not all here today. There's about 30 of us in the state of New Jersey that are racial justice advocates that are prioritizing freedom and liberty and justice for all every single day, day in and day out, sometimes literally 24/7, and we are punching above our weight. And so I want to give a shout out to everybody who's here. If you can stand for a second, if you're here, I would love that from the ACLU. Yeah. And we don't do this work alone. We do it in partnership with a lot of different organizations. I see Reverend Boyer in the house. We do it with so many other folks that are part and parcel of this work. We couldn't do it alone. A little over 2 years ago, we started building something that we called the Clemency Project. And it's led by our decarceration attorney, the only attorney with that title of her kind, Rebecca Uwakwe, who's here. And the goal of the Clemency Project is to ensure that we help New Jersey embrace a categorical approach to clemency. And over the past 2 years, we've been working to identify pathways to categorical clemency and build something that could have meaningful racial justice impact in our state. My teams reminded me that even though clemency is overwhelmingly popular amongst residents across the state, according to polls, in New Jersey it's been wildly underutilized. Over the past 30 years, we've only seen about 100 instances of clemency being granted. We can and we must do better. And as a pastor reminded us, and as I feel today, clemency is a religious concept. Indeed, every major religion says something about mercy or about clemency. In my faith of Hinduism, it's taught that there's no human act that can exceed the mercy of the Supreme Being. Now, governors are not gods. But the constitutional power of clemency is rooted in that tradition of mercy towards individuals. It can be about rehabilitation. It can be about second chances. But it can be much more than that, too, if we choose it to be. Clemency can be a chance to correct injustices in our flawed criminal legal system. It can be an opportunity to demonstrate the need for systemic change. And it can be a tool to end mass incarceration. It's no secret that we're facing some of the greatest threats to our democracy right now. There's political corruption. There's increased distrust in government. We're seeing a resurgence of anti-immigrant hate. We're seeing book bans and attacks on DEI and bans on teaching truth in our classrooms. The most marginalized among us are being targeted with vicious attacks. We're seeing lawmakers call for tough on crime policies that would increase penalties and specifically target black and brown youth. New Jersey is no exception to that. And indeed, our state has made national news, perhaps deservingly so in some moments, for its own bad actors and lack of transparency and other issues. But we can create a new narrative. New Jersey can be about something different. In a conversation leading up to the launch of the Clemency Project with our staff about the things we wanted to pursue, my colleague Jean said, "Why can't we just let New Jersey be New Jersey?" And that stuck with me. It might sound simplistic and especially hard to swallow when there's so much cynicism in our state, but there's truth to it. It's a recognition that we can do big things here when we want to and when we follow the will of the people. It's a recognition that we shouldn't be surprised, and I'm looking at our Attorney General here, we shouldn't be surprised by moments of integrity. We can acknowledge and we can learn from our history. We can acknowledge our history and we can learn from it. We can build a thriving multiracial democracy. We can repair injustice. We can reject hatred in all its forms. And we can prioritize people over prisons. Listen, indeed, it's New Jersey that legalized cannabis under this governor and expunged nearly 400,000 records. It's New Jersey that reduced the footprint of immigration detention in our state so that nobody who is trying to create a better life for themselves has to suffer through harsh conditions. And it's New Jersey that's reduced our prison population by more than any other state in the country. More than 50%. I see you, Reverend Boyer. More than 50% since 2011. And indeed, it's New Jersey that, with our collective will, with our might, and with our leadership, will lead the nation in what clemency can be. Let New Jersey be New Jersey. We can grant freedom to people who've suffered unspeakable violence at the hands of abusers and were coerced into crimes. We can deliver justice for people who exercised their constitutional right to go to trial, but were punished with an extreme trial penalty, a prison sentence far greater than what was initially offered by a prosecutor. And we can provide justice and make sure that no young person is ever languishing in prison. I see Luis in the back over there. Governor Murphy, I heard you once describe the potential of this clemency initiative as being something revolutionary. Governor, I know that you're going to lean into that spirit when you exercise your power, your constitutional power, that the people have elected you to wield, and that the Clemency Board follows your lead. We can indeed do something revolutionary here in New Jersey. We can let New Jersey be New Jersey and live up to the promises of freedom and justice for all. Thank you.
Thanks for the help all. Thank you, Amal. Thanks to you and your colleagues here today and not with us today from the ACLU and Jay for all of your partnership. It has been incredibly important to get us to today and from today forward. If I could ask as they say in Hollywood, it's a wrap, except for I got to sign the executive order. Could you all stay in your seats just while we reconfigure the stage up here? So give us 1 minute. Thank you all.
Are you watching the kids when they pick up the microphone?
I don't know if they're going to talk to you. The guy told me they're not going to. I guess like if they have a conversation down there, they don't want that to go.
First up, our host pastor, Dr. Ronald Slaughter. One letter at a time. Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way. I can't tell you how honored that he made the trip and how honored I am that he'd stand by us and how much respect I have for him. Let's hear it one more time for Big Bill. Another guy I want to thank for making the trip. That you can tell it was his first time with a microphone.
going on?
Attorney General Matt Blackman.
I'm looking at it, they don't have it on.
Okay, now you're going to hear about the board. Incredibly honored to have their service. I'm about to date this, which I'm not supposed to, otherwise I'll run out of pens. First up, in your chair, and again, I can't thank enough Justice Dukes. Justice. Other members of the board. First up, give it up for Jessica Henry. Jessica. My dear friend who's been with me from moment one, Bishop Joshua Rodriguez. Let's hear it for Joe Ellen Jones. Joe. Ed Beasley. Ed. And last but not least, Michael Zuckerman. Michael. So I'm going to do all of them here. I want to give one to Victoria Q. To one of my predecessors who spends his life getting people back on their feet when they've been in the system, Jim Rodriguez. Jim.